So the right-wing conservative, the business class is freaking out that a businessman, Donald Trump, may get the GOP nomination. How much are they freaking out? Well, they're willing to put their weight behind Chris Christie. Pardon the pun. They're willing. They are. That's what's happened. Because if you don't know what happened, the New Hampshire Union Leader, which is the right-wing newspaper in New Hampshire, ironic they call it the Union Leader. Right? Because the union, it was anyway. So they're not really for working unions. And of course, there was so when we had a civil war, so it's called the Union Leader in New Hampshire. And they endorsed Chris Christie. What did they say about him? Let's see. What did they say? They said that the headline is, "For our safety, our future." Chris Christie for president. For our safety, let's just hope that in our future, let's just hope in the future, you don't have to take an ambulance ride over a bridge. That would be not a good safety thing in our future. Let's say in your future you needed some Hurricane Sandy relief funds distributed quickly and fairly. Not going to be good for you. So anyway, they endorsed, it's the Union Leader in New Hampshire endorsed him, and they said, but the one reason that Chris Christie may be best suited to lead during these times is because he tells it like it is, and he isn't shy about it. And I've said many times on this show, if it's one thing Chris Christie does not do, it's tell it like it is. What he does is lie like a rude motherfucker. Those are different. There's hard truth tellers, you know, like, I don't know. Who would be a hard truth teller to you? Noam Chomsky, Al Gore talking about climate change, Bill Nye the Science Guy talking about climate change, Bernie Sanders talking about the middle class, college education, the rigged economy. Those would be tough truth tellers. Chris Christie, bullshitter extraordinaire, and he does it like it's good old common sense. That's a typical fucking liar. That's what Chris Christie is. But so why did the New Hampshire Union Leader endorse Chris Christie? Why did they pluck him? Because Chris Christie is an establishment candidate, right? They can rely on Chris Christie to do what business wants and to maybe win, right? So they decided that's what this is. This is the establishment of the GOP trying to pick somebody that they think can win, that they think they can control. So let's get behind Chris Christie. I know if you get behind him, no one will see you. Come on, Jimmy, another bad joke. So I just wanted to so who else has the Union Leader endorsed? Right? You go, what? Come on, Jimmy, you can't disparage the Union Leader in New Hampshire. Who else have they endorsed? Well, in 2012, they didn't endorse Mitt Romney. They endorsed Newt Gingrich. In 2012. Okay. In 2000, they endorsed, not George Bush, Steve Forbes. In 1996, they didn't endorse Bob Dole. They endorsed Pat Buchanan. Who did they endorse in 92? Pat Buchanan. They endorsed Pat Buchanan, Steve Forbes, Newt Gingrich. And of course, they endorsed in 2004, George Bush, in 2008, John McCain, because he put on Sarah Palin, and I guess that was crazy enough for them. Guess who they endorsed in 1988? Guess who they endorsed then? Did they endorse? Who was the nominee? George Herbert Walker Bush was the nominee. Ronald Reagan's vice president for 8 years. Did they endorse him? No, they endorsed Pete DuPont. Pete DuPont. They endorsed. Okay, so that's what's happening. You got a right-wing newspaper endorsing Chris Christie in a feeble attempt to try to push back against Donald Trump's popularity. And you ain't going to get that popular with the base unless you start saying some really ignorant shit. And after the New Hampshire Union Leader endorsed Pete DuPont, he sprinted with that endorsement to a next-to-last finish in the New Hampshire primary. Boy, that endorsement from the New Hampshire Union Leader really goes a long way.